Good evening. My name is Angela Cooper Brathwaite, and I am honored to be your president. I welcome all of you to the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario 95th Annual General Meeting in a virtual format, the first in the association's history. I'm so pleased to celebrate another year of enormous RNAO successes with you. Our AGM virtual coordinators are Ifra Ali and Peter Gay Batten. You will hear me refer to Ifra or Peter Gay to confirm the order of the speakers and motion movers during this session. At this time, I ask if anyone here today has a conflict of interest. Please indicate this by clicking in the participant box and selecting with your raised hand if you do have one. You'll be then unmuted and will have the floor to speak. Ifra, is there anyone?
No conflict of interest indicated.
That being said, there are no other declarations of conflict of interest. Let's proceed with the business of the day. I would like to introduce to you Dr. Doris Greenspan, our esteemed Chief Executive Officer, and Charlotte Nosegard, our parliamentarian for today's sessions. Dr. Greenspan is RNAO CEO since 1996. Prior to this, she worked in clinical and administrative positions in Israel and the United States, and from 1990 to 1996, served as Director of Nursing at Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto. Dr. Greenspan is value-driven, evidence-informed, and a courageous leader who enriches RNAO and the world over. And for this, she has received numerous professional and scholarly awards, including the Order of Ontario in 2003, which recognizes the highest level of excellence and achievement in any field. She has an honorary doctorate of laws from the University of Ontario Institute of Technology in 2011 for an eminent career as a visionary advocate and tireless champion of excellence in patient care, and for transforming nursing and the healthcare practice at the bedside with the introduction of best practice guidelines. She also has the Queen Diamond Jubilee Medal in 2013. She has the Lampara Florencia Nightingale, or Lamp of Florence Nightingale, by the Colegio de Enfermeras de Peru, that is the College of Nurses of Peru, in 2017. In 2018, she was the first nurse ever to be bestowed a Doctor Honoris Causa by the University de Lleida in Spain. And in 2018, she was inducted to the American Academy of Nurses. Our Doris has been featured in numerous publications as a powerful and authentic leader and a positive change agent. And for the past 24 years, we have been privileged to her beneficiaries that she has contributed to us. I'll now introduce Charlotte Nosegard, who is a longtime active, passionate member of RNAO and has served the association in several roles, including being RNAO president from 1997 to 1998, chapter president and interest group chair. Charlotte is the recipient of RNAO prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award. She has served as RNAO parliamentarian since 2016. And we are delighted to have Charlotte again with us this year, AGM, as our parliamentarian. At this time, we would like to recognize our past presidents, past executive directors, members emeritus, and Lifetime Achievement Award recipients in attendance. I would like now to introduce each of our 2019 to 2020 board members who are here with us today. Morgan Hoffart, President-elect, Betty Aldershot, Region 1 Representative, Christine Butler, Region 2 Representative, Nathan Kelly, Region 3 Representative, Anita Sangsit, Region 4 Representative, Leanne Turner, Region 5 Representative, Pariska Bada, Region 6 Representative, Soyan Sito, Region 7 Representative, Regina Elliott, Region 8 Representative, Alison Kern, Region 9 Representative, Doris Jenkins, Region 10 Representative, Liana Burson, Region 11 Representative, Julie Rebel, Interest Group Representative, Rhonda Seidman Carlson, Interest Group Representative, Brad Manuel, Student Representative, School, Shalom Guberman, Public Relations, and Dr. Doris Greenspan. These are your board members. I am pleased to report that over 600 members and other guests have registered for our general meeting this year, and I would like to thank you and all of us today for joining us. I'd like to just introduce our executive director, who is going to talk to us.
Okay, they did admit. PG, can you put the slides, please? I think, Madam President, you may have skipped a few pages.
Did I?
I think so. The rules of order, if I'm not wrong. But we can go back to them after, if not.
Okay, let's see. I have a manual here, the rules of order. I guess my book didn't go in order. You want me to go back to the rules of order?
I'm not sure that you went through the rules of order for the day. If not,
okay, I will continue then. It's inspiring, and I did say that, it's inspiring to see even in the midst of our very challenging times that there is vibrant and active engagement of members and large audience explain why RNO is the driving force in shaping the future of nursing health and healthcare in Ontario. I would like to take the opportunity to thank Dr. De La Rocha, Chief Executive of this year's AGM. Dr. De La Rocha is a professor in the collaborative Durham College and University of Ontario Institute of Technology, Bachelor of Science Nursing Program in Oshawa since 2007. Arlene has a passion for teaching and encourages all the students to become RNO members and to champion best practice in their nursing care. De La Rocha is a proud RNA Hub Fellow, having received this award in 2016. The deadline for any new business was this morning at 8:30 a.m. Note that the only new business that could be accepted at this time is any proposed resolution coming from RNO Board of Directors. Resolutions coming forward from a member of the association as an additional new business item prior to the commencement of the business at the AGM will not be accepted. This meets the stipulation in RNO Policy 6.07, Section 5, and is meant to encourage members to meet the deadline for submission of resolutions to the AGM. I must remind you who are gathered here and the Assembly that it is my responsibility and prerogative as chair to consider with advisors and any items of critical importance that arise during this annual general meeting, and to deal with them at my discretion. Options for handling any items may include the following: placing an item on the agenda under new business, referring an item to the Board of Directors, or ruling an item out of order. In regards to the members' comments for participants, and their preference will always be given to RNO members. When you are called to speak, I ask that you state your chapter for recording purposes and to make sure you say your name to ensure members have the first and also to ensure members have the first opportunity. We want to ensure that during the AGM we will hear many voices on topics that are possible. To facilitate this diversity, we will spend no more than 8 minutes per topic during the consultation session, and speakers will be allowed to speak once unless no other members have their hands raised. To speak, we ask that you click on the participants button at the bottom of your screen to open the participants window. When the participant window opens, click the raise hand button. Speakers will be placed in order of the raise hand and will be recognized by the chair in that order. When the chair calls on you, you will be unmuted by the AGM facilitators. State your name and the group you're representing clearly before moving a motion or getting into a discussion. When your microphone is muted, there is a red line through the microphone icon. You will be able to speak when the red line disappears. Once you have finished speaking, or if your time has been expired, you will be muted again. Use the lower hand feature if you no longer wish to speak and would like to be removed from the speakers list. I will now present the roll call for today's meeting, which took place at 3 p.m. Friday, June the 12th. There were 159 consultation representatives registered out of a possible of 227. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for representing today your chapter, region without chapters, or your interest groups. I must remind you of the important opportunity you have to vote under the one member, one vote process. I trust you took full advantage to cast your vote over the past 2 weeks. The results of your votes will be reported later today. In attendance with RNO bylaws and policies, the proposed resolutions coming for consultation today are not part of the official governance business of the AGM, such as these are not dealt with during the one member, one vote online voting process. The consultation session will take place later this afternoon, and there are 5 proposed resolutions brought forward by the Resolution Committee will be discussed and decided upon. The minutes of the 219 meeting were available for review by the consultation representatives prior to this meeting. No motion is necessary. Are there any corrections or additions or discussion around these minutes? Seeing there are none, I declare that the minutes of 2019 annual meeting be accepted as circulated without any corrections or noted. Before we continue with this afternoon's agenda, I would like to take a moment to recognize and pay our respects to our late Wendy Pearson. Wendy was a dear friend of RNO, committed board member, loyal member of RNO. She was loved and greatly respected within the association, especially in her home constituency of Region 10, Ottawa. She is dearly missed by her friends, colleagues, and here at RNO. We ask that you join us in a moment of silence to honor Wendy. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Doris Greenspan to present her CEO report to members. Please welcome Doris Greenspan.
to see it. I was thinking that after the opening ceremonies and after listening to Florence and after seeing how many people joined us, and after attending the consultation meeting, that this feels like an AGM, smells like an AGM, it is an AGM, and the only thing I can say is I miss giving you a personal hug. Aside of that, it really is an AGM. And what an AGM, the first in the history of RNO, and likely in the history of any association that I know, to be virtual. Now, there is a difference between RNO and other associations. We do have an AGM. We have a 3-day AGM. Not every association can pride itself in saying the same. And we have an AGM with fantastic attendance. Over 600 people registered to the AGM. The participation is vibrant. The live stream is vibrant, I hear from our staff. And all in all, we have a lot to be proud. This is the year of the nurse. 2020, the World Health Organization coined this the year of the nurse because it's 200 years of Mother Flo birth. You know, many say, well, this is a year that we were supposed to be celebrating big time. This is a year that was supposed to be all about celebrations. And trust me, we had, in addition to the surprise that you saw yesterday of Florence Nightingale speaking to us, we had many other surprises for you. And it just happened that the world changed and that COVID came to visit us. And one can say this has been the most difficult time. We have lost many lives in Ontario and around the world. We have lost many nurses around the world. In Ontario, we lost Brian Beatty. This has been very difficult time for many of you at work. This has been difficult times for all of us from the long hours we are putting. And yet, this has been, in my view, the best time for nursing. Because once again, we have put, like always, patients first. The difference is that this time it was on display for the world over to see. And in Ontario, and this is why Nursing Now asked us to present to the world, we were ahead of the curve every single step of the way. But the report today is not only about COVID-19, because that has been our life, consuming us for the last 5 months. But the year is more than 5 months. So I want to share with you a bit of what we have been doing all about when speaking out for nursing and speaking out for health, which is what we do at RNO. I will speak about 5 themes. The first theme that I will speak about is about voice. And voice is what some of us have in spades, but our members have in spades. Let me tell you what we have done in the way of voice. Membership. We have grown our membership, which is the blood in the veins of RNO. We have, the membership is now 43,400 and change, larger, stronger, more vocal, and more engaged than ever before. Our membership is across the entire province, and our membership reaches every corner, not only in Ontario and Canada, but around the world. To you members, thank you for being the lifeline of RNO. It is for you that this presentation is dedicated, not only for the work that you have been doing during COVID-19, but for the work that you do every day, before COVID, during COVID, after COVID, and for the life that you give to RNO. Thank you to each and every one of you. In terms of voice, we also, next one please, PG. In terms of voice, in the midst of a pandemic, we issue ECHO 3.0. And I think this is not only important because what we present on ECHO 3.0, which is once again community care, strengthening community care, and also anchoring it in primary care. But it also is an indication, as it is the rest of the report, of an association that is always thinking outwards, always. An association that despite COVID was not only consumed by COVID, but actually delivered every single aspect of an association's program. And this is what is so remarkable about this report to you, our members. I encourage you to review Enhancing Community Care for Ontarians. You heard the minister, one after another, referring to it yesterday. The government always take us seriously, and I would say now more than ever before. In terms of voice, we spoke during the pandemic, as we did always before, and as we will do always after, for vulnerable populations. We work with situations of persons experiencing homelessness, and we work with AICHA Inner City for opening sites for persons that experience homelessness that are either waiting for their test results of COVID-19 or that are COVID positive. And what a pride do I feel to say in this report to you colleagues, that is one of our colleagues, a leader of our community nursing, a person that used to work at RNO, and you know that now she's a doctor. I'm referring to Dr. Lee Chapman, who is leading AICHA as a nursing model, and for which we provided through the COVID-19 via nurse, many via nurses, as yesterday the minister said, via nurses, over 100 via nurses just to this initiative alone, and many more that you will see later on in the report to the province overall. Equally important, our work with Indigenous communities. And on that, I want to thank Sabrina Merali, Grace Suba, Deborah Flores, all of our colleagues that work on the BPG program and on the programs that link with Indigenous communities, where we sign agreements with our Indigenous communities and are providing programs for them second to none. Similarly, and sadly, we needed to speak during COVID in a very forceful voice for vulnerable persons that live in nursing homes in Ontario. I'm not going to go in depth into the analysis, but you have heard me say before and in my blogs that COVID-19 has been a tale of two stories. One story is the story of those that actually are getting better, are doing better. The other is the story of people in congregate communities. So people in shelters, people in incarcerated, people that live in nursing homes, and of course our sisters and brothers in the Indigenous communities. They are the most affected, and what's happened in Ontario and around the world, but in Ontario in particular, in nursing homes, is nothing short than abandonment. And for that, in the midst of this crisis, we also issue a report this past week called Nursing Home Basic Care Guarantee. It is a report that you will hear more and more about that. It absolutely needs to be implemented. There is no need for more reports. 2 weeks ago, we issued a report on the issue of more reports, more recommendations, and we have 35 reports in the last 21 years. We got to stop with reports, and we absolutely need to move to action. So on this issue of VNRs, a big thank you first for Daniel Lau, for our Kerry Edwards, for Kenya, for Robert, for Anne-Marie, for all our colleagues at our RNO membership department who work 24/7, and I mean it, 24/7, during the day, during the evening, when people need it at night, when people need it in the weekend. deploying nurses to vulnerable communities and to other communities in need. And of course, for the reports that have to do with vulnerable persons, I want to thank Matt Calway, who we did lend, just so you know, to AICHA. He has been seconded for a few months to AICHA, and to Imagine Bainok, that is for the last 2.5 months or close to 3 months with us. And of course, our colleagues in the policy department, all of them, Brittany that led ECHO, Catherine and Kim that work heavily on the long-term care reports, and absolutely everybody that has done tremendous work with us at Areneo. Next one, please, PG. In terms of voice, inquiries and inquests, and I do hope that we don't have many more of those. There is absolutely no need for inquiries and inquests. They take a tremendous amount of time, a tremendous amount of financial resources. And you know what? The sad piece about that is that everybody forgets. In fact, when the media was calling me to tell me, did we think that we need an inquiry or an inquest on this issue of long-term care facilities in Ontario, my answer to them was, do you know what's happening in July 31st, 2020? And a moment of embarrassment passed, and I said, bingo, you don't know, and no one else knows. And I bet you, my colleagues, that most of you may not know. Try to write in the chat line now if you know what happens on July 31st, 2020. And I would love to hear that colleagues in the audience actually do know. Because July, when people don't know, it's an indication of how we forget that this comes from the inquest of that happened over the nurse that killed 8 residents in nursing homes. And this just happened. The results of that inquest was this year, less than a year ago, July 2019. And people already, especially media, politicians, forgot. But you may remember that Minister Fullerton said yesterday that in July 31st, she is going to table her recommendations, and her recommendations for us can be nothing shorter than a nursing home basic care guarantee, which is what we are asking and what you will hear more and more and more from us. No more need for inquiries, no more need for inquests, no more need for commissions. What we need is action. 21 years, my colleagues, 21 years, every single government, but Michael Schreiner, that was not in power before. No single government has done enough about what's happening in nursing home, and this must stop and must stop now. Next one, please, PG. In terms of voice, speaking out with politicians, speaking out with the Prime Minister. You can see that we very delightfully succeeded to have the Prime Minister as part of our Take Our MPP to Work. He visited with my absolutely amazing colleague, Esther Mogadan, the Chief Nurse Officer, who is addressing him there. And Angela and I were in a big screen in front of him, speaking about public health. And I would invite you, it is in the report, and the link to what Esther Mogadan spoke is right there for her own surprise of every single word that she said to the Prime Minister, which was about evidence-based guidelines because they're part of a VPSO, which it was about VNRs because they were the first to use VNRs. So kudos to Esther. What a champion, what an outspoken, articulate person for the nursing community. And I hear that the Prime Minister was thrilled when each one of us was addressing him. Equally important, meetings with Minister Fullerton, meetings with Minister Elliott. And as important as that, colleagues, is your voice. It's the voice that you have taken to every MPP in every corner of this province, to every MPP with the message that is clear, with priorities that are clear. Colleagues, it's impossible that they will not follow on the demands of RNO. It is absolutely impossible, and it's because of the collective voice that we bring to politicians, to civil servants, to the media, and to everybody in between. And it is you, colleagues, because if it was only Angela, or if it was only Morgan or myself, or a handful of board members, that wouldn't have the power that the voice of RNO has, because of an assembly that is second to none, an assembly of leaders that takes on the charge of speaking out for nursing, speaking out for health, through a voice that is convincing, through a voice that is relentless, through a voice that no one can stand in between but to act. Next one, please, PG. Powering is the second theme. And you have heard me speak before about powering. You have heard me also say the difference between powering and empowering. Empowering is giving power to others. Powering means it's yours. We just light the candle like Florence Nightingale did, and we give you the tools for you to take that power and to move it forward. So on powering, we're speaking about first two themes. Powering without capacity building cannot work. To power people, to power organizations, to power communities, you need to build them up. To power, my board powers me by actually giving range to me through the ends. The ends, for example, say what you shall not do, but it allows you to dream big and to act big. And the board always says to me, and Angela has been phenomenal on this, go big, Doris, go big, Doris. And every single board member does the same. Similarly, we power the assembly, and the assembly in turn powers members through capacity building. Look at this and see how much we have done with members to build capacity for policy, to understand policy, and for political action, to take that policy, to take the documents and be able to reflect them as you speak, embedded with your own local stories to politicians. And this is again why it's so convincing to them. The next powering is the capacity building that we do for evidence-based practice. Guys, 19,000 people engaged, 19,000 in 1 year, being powered to do evidence-based practice, either through webinars, through face-to-face meetings, through a variety of other institutes, etc. 19,000 people that we have reached. And for this, I thank Heather Campbell and her entire team of implementation scientists at RNO, and also Megan Bamford and her team, in particular Enquire and the team of the guideline development, that every time they do a guideline, they do a webinar to share the guidelines so everybody gets powered with that knowledge. Every time that we do changes for BPSOs, or that we launch new BPSOs like the Ontario Health Team BPSOs, we do webinars, we build them up with capacity building for them to be able to take that expertise and again, power the rest of the nurses and other health professionals. These 19 people engaged are not only nurses, and that's a good thing, because it will be very selfish for an organization like RNO or for any one of our members to only keep the knowledge for ourselves rather than sharing it with all the other disciplines. Let me tell you, not many disciplines have an association that is so well resourced in terms of people, in terms of finances, that actually you can deliver the way that we do. Hence why we need to share with others. This is why the next theme in powering is powering our members. Powering our members all the way. Powering our members with this capacity building, with the programs, with the meetings, with the structures, with the ENOs that are active, with the assembly, with the chapters, in a way that you take this richness on and you put it out. Next one, please, PG. And of course, information technology. Information technology is like that crumbled thing in the side that puts it, helps us give legs to our message. It's like if you don't have a good information management and technology team, you feel, and trust me, we did feel at RNO years ago like this. We were advancing with PPGs, we were advancing with everything, and yet we didn't have the power horse, I call it, to move fast. And that is what was keeping us. Not anymore. LC, Louis Charles Lavallée and his team have been phenomenal with information management and technology. And you will see in the report, you don't have many times a CEO that says ahead of the curve, guys, we're not coming on Monday. This was a Friday. We are now starting to work from home because I don't want to risk any of our stuff. And then by end of day, everything is smooth and people are with their computers going home. That doesn't take a day. That takes years of preparation. And that is what LC Lavallée has done so phenomenally alongside his entire team. So thank you again. Kudos to you, LC and team. Next on powering is, of course, finances. You know, we couldn't do all the work and all the amazing, talented people that we have and all the outreach that we do with all of you if we didn't have the financial capacity to do the work. And this is why, to my colleague Nancy Campbell and her entire department, a special thank to you and to the members that continue to grow in numbers and bring finances, to the staff across all departments that watches every penny carefully, and to the board that governs and watches how we're doing with financial matters. Financials matter, colleagues. Financials matter. Next one, please. Next one, PG, please. No, go to the previous one. I think you skipped to, oh, okay, go to the next one. Thank you so much. Practice excellence. Let me talk about practice excellence. Practice excellence is at the core of nursing. Without practice excellence, there is no nursing. There is no RNO. We could be doing everything in the world, but if we don't have practice excellence, we absolutely cannot do the work. So let me tell you about practice excellence and the highlights of this year. Next one, please, PG. Practice excellence, I want to start with the work that I announced last year about nurse practitioners. We announced a task force for nurse practitioners that is second to none. And our colleagues at RNO are driving this in a magnificent sense, in a magnificent way. Andrea, who is now in mat leave, congrats, Andrea. And of course, now Catherine Joel, who has taken it on. Catherine and myself and Irma Jean, we are working together on this piece. And of course, there is the task force of nurse practitioners. And the work that we are finalizing is fantastic. And in September, we are going to launch the Nurse Practitioner Task Force, Visioning for the Future, and you will see the recommendations that will come for pushing that agenda forward. We need more nurse practitioners in Ontario. We need more nurse practitioners. In fact, we need a nurse practitioner in every single one of our 625 nursing homes, and we don't have that. Next one, please, PG. Being mindful of the time, I'm not going to dwell in the richness of the best practice guidelines program. Suffice to say that COVID or not COVID, 5 months of it, we absolutely delivered 3 new BPGs this year. So this year we already delivered 1 actually during Nursing Week, oral health, and you will see the other BPGs coming in this year. They're all ready to go and they're fantastic. And thank you to the entire team for that. Next one, please. Best practice spotlight organizations. We continue to grow. And what is most remarkable to me is that COVID-19 has pushed us big time to actually deliver a new methodology for BPSOs in the go forward, because we cannot stop with our international BPSOs, but we cannot go there. So we are, and the same for that matter across Canada. So we are looking with Heather and the team at different methodologies that we will use to move forward with the BPSOs, so we don't hold them back, because they need the work in order for them to advance their practice. And the work of Ontario Health Teams under the leadership of Susan McNeil, working closely with me and with Olivia, is tremendous. And what is most impressing is how that work, despite of COVID, continued to work. The BPSOs, or Ontario Health Team BPSOs, continue to meet, continue to want to be engaged. And in fact, they use the Person and Family Centered Care Guideline, which is one of the 2 mandatory guidelines, to drive their work during COVID. So in a sense, the BPSO model served the Ontario Health Teams to glue them even more together, to fast forward practice excellence, even in the midst of COVID. Colleagues, we have over 1,000 organizations that are BPSOs today around the world. Next one, PG, please. Practice excellence with Inquire, the measurement, the evidence boosters, and everything in between has been tremendous. And for that, I want to thank not only Megan Bamford and the Inquire team, that is tremendous. Also, John Lavis, my co-chair on the International Advisory Committee of Inquire. And I also want to thank Dr. Janet Squires from the University of Ottawa for being so engaged with us on the measurement of how Ontario Health Teams are coming about the BPSO HTs. Next one, please, PG. Now, this is a special pride, because I want you to look and Google how many professional associations, in addition to the work that you already heard, in addition to BPGs, in addition to report after report, in addition to growing membership, growing finances, in fact, growing everything, how many take the time to share, not only in events and in conferences, but actually in publications. It takes time, colleagues, to do a publication. And this year we published 9 outstanding articles in peer review journals, in addition to many others that are not peer review. 9 outstanding pieces. And for that, to all of those that have written articles, I tip my hat, because I do know that the expectations of your CEO are high, but I also know that the importance of sharing broadly our practice excellence tools are critical if we are to continue to work outwards, continue to work in a way that not only benefits RNAO and our members, not only benefits Ontario and Ontarians, but actually that we share that generously around the world, whether it's in Spanish or in English or in another language, so that others can benefit from our richness. Next one, please, PG. I want to talk about partnerships, because partnerships to me has been the highlight, not only of the year, because every year we build partnerships and every year we rejoice in partnerships. But for me, partnerships in particular was the lifeline of COVID-19. I cannot tell you how many times I spoke with colleagues that are not from nursing and not from RNAO, from other disciplines, whether those were infection control specialists, whether those people from the OMA that wanted to speak with us, people from Advantage Ontario that we helped them hugely through Via Nurse. Partnerships to me as a CEO, in addition to my president that was there all the time clapping, and the president-elect Morgan that was all the time also clapping and tweeting and WhatsApping me and others. Partnerships to me was external to nursing, the highlight of RNAO and the support that gave us the tremendous visibility that Areneo has gained through COVID-19. Let me tell you a bit about partnerships. The portal, a special thank you here to two people. One that is surprised that he will give thank you, but he's sitting next to me here showing me that I have only 10 minutes left. And that's my husband, Ricardo, and I will say why. And the other is the Ian and Lola, and of course, Mike and Madison. Madison is a new addition to Areneo. And I want to tell you that this team of Areneo is a dream team. So one night I was talking with Ricardo and saying, you know, these memos that I sent, these updates that I sent are so long, so big. I don't know if anybody will read them anymore. And Ricardo goes, why don't you create a portal? And I go, portal, tell me more about the portal. Next day, I connect Ricardo actually with the team at Areneo, and the rest is history. These people made it happen. And to you guys, thank you, because again, it has given us credibility and visibility and microphone like nothing else. So to you guys, thank you. And of course, to Marianne that worked behind the scenes and LC for making it happen. Thank you guys. And to all of the other team members at Areneo that are participating on every single page in this portal, because on every single page on this portal, there are different teams involved. Too many to mention now, so thank you. Next one in partnerships is the partnership that I mentioned before with our Indigenous sisters and brothers, with whom we connect to this day. And it is through that partnership that we actually then, during COVID, assisted them in getting a fulsome plan that now they're using in their own communities. It's an amazing partnership. It's a partnership that we learn as much as we give. In fact, colleagues, we learn more than what we give. So to my colleagues, to the chief, and to everybody of the BPSOs, thank you. Thank you for the partnership. We are learning, as I said, as much as we are giving. And that partnership was signed in front of the board with the chiefs of Ontario. And it was a tremendous moment that will carry us for years to come. Next one, please. The partnership for members. You know, life is not only about getting, it's more about giving. And Areneo and our entire leadership at Areneo is always in tune into that. Members gives us their voice. Member gives us their, as I said before, lifeline. Members give us their resources. Members go to meet with MPPs. Members go to work every day. Members implement the guidelines. And we are always thinking, how do we give back to members? And to members, one important piece that we give is to protect you. Number one, to protect your career through best practice guidelines. Number two, to protect your practice through PLP and through lab. Number three, to protect your careers through RN careers. And number four, to protect your assets through hub. So colleagues, please know, you the members, you are first in mind and last in mind for us. And we always keep ourselves thinking, what and how can we give back to members, because members are all the time giving to us. Next one, please, PG. I spoke about the partnership with the OMA. I spoke about the partnership with AICHA before, with the chiefs, and I spoke about the partnership with Advantage Ontario. So I'm not going to take more time, except if they are online, to say to them, thank you. There is one more partnership that came a bit as a surprise this year to me. And this was a partnership that actually was initiated by Nursing Now. They connected with us, impressed of our work. They connected with us because they wanted to know more of our work on BPGs. As a result, what you can see is that we were named in the World Health Report. Areneo is there. I had the pleasure to review that report. We did also webinars for Nursing Now. And of course, on Saturday, when you see Barbara Stilwell, who you were supposed to see in person please say to her that we value the partnership with them, because Nursing Now has been for us a true sister, brother, together with us. So to them, thank you again. Collective identity is the last pillar that I want to speak with you about. And collective identity, if we go to the next slide, PG, is all about social movement. The pins that you guys wear and that I wear. You can see I wear the pin of RNO, BPSO, Order of Ontario, which is a mask, and Sigma. That's my collective identity. Those are things that I keep dear to my heart, that I have been heavily involved with. That's part of who I am as a nurse. And those are the pins that you use day in and day out. One ask is we want you to use them for work. We absolutely want you to use for work your pins of RN, NP, and nursing student. We need you to use them for work because we need the world to know that you are an RN. We need the world to know that you are a nurse practitioner. We need patients to know that you are a nursing student. You are, I am sorry to say, I'm not being elitist, you are different than other people. Linda Lee O'Brien Pallas, years ago, I remember, and I hope she's listening. And if you are, I love you, Linda. But Linda Lee O'Brien Pallas did years ago a piece of research when she was very engaged with RNO. And it had nothing to do with RNO, it had to do with what makes nurses happy. And lo and behold, she discovered that those that were members of RNO were happier workers than others, were more satisfied workers. Colleagues, you need to wear your pin, promise me. Wear your pin to work, send pictures to Madison and to me, and send pictures to Susan McNeil with your pin on, and we will tweet those pictures because you make a difference in practice. You make a difference in policy. You make a difference in so many other ways. And yes, you are different than others, and I'm not going to shy away of that. And of course, the pins of PPSOs that you can see, they're from all over the world, in Spanish, in English, in Chinese, you know, in Australian, in case my colleagues in Australia are working, pins of all kinds, all with the collective identity of PPSO. For this work, I want to thank our team that is carrying the concept analysis, which you will see very, very soon. Catherine, tremendous work. Shelly-Ann, tremendous work. Susan, that keeps us on track. Olivia, that keeps us on track. And I, that I'm delighted to co-chair that work with Janet Squires from Ottawa. What a piece of work we are doing, colleagues. We are revolutionizing the world. And when this new framework, the Leading Change Toolkit, will be out in a few months, we will revolutionize the world with social movement and collective identity that will fire up everybody to do even more with evidence uptake. Next one, PG, please. Resolutions. What is resolutions if not collective identity? What is resolutions if it's not what I experienced last night when Paula and Paul Andre and others were saying, and this is the job of RNO, and this is what RNO does, and this is not what RNO does, and other colleagues typing. What do we do? How do we accept? How do we move this resolution forward? One helping the other in the discussion in resolutions, because you feel part of this collective. Because for you, this association is important. Because colleagues, this association is yours. I don't know if you remember, some of you may, very few, because the majority are too young to remember, but my first column that someone did before I came to RNO was that no one owned RNO, that members were not enough engaged, the board was not enough engaged, the staff was, you know, very small staff of 19 people. Guys, you own this association, and my golly, you're doing it beautifully. From the members to the board to the assembly, we have a collective identity that is allowing us to move the association for the association to power changes in the province, in the country, and in the world. And for that, I cannot thank you enough. Next one, please, PG. Members Recognitions Award. Well, collective identity. And we had more applications than ever before. And when my team said that to me, I was thrilled. The more, the better. And yes, today we're going to celebrate yet new people into the awards, and each one of you deserves that award and many more to come. Next one, please. There is no collective identity without an amazing board, without an amazing staff, and without a partnership between them that shows shared leadership. You know, I know many organizations where the board has little voice. That's terrible. That's no governance. I also know organizations where the staff has no voice. Well, that's terrible too in our view. We believe in shared leadership between members and between board, shared leadership with an assembly and with everybody, shared leadership between president and president-elect and CEO, shared leadership between the RNO, CEO and the staff, shared leadership where the staff can say what they think and the staff can give ideas, and the report is actually the reflection of that. A staff that every single person was involved in that report. And I cannot end without saying that in my personal life, shared leadership for me is also my family. A family that puts up with me, that puts up to the long hours, that gives me ideas. This guy, Ethan Greenspan, my son, who gladly, they're not anymore in the US, they're here at home, back home, telling me, what about the BPGs? Are you bringing artificial intelligence to it? And giving his own ideas on how we can grow our collective RNO. A grandson that says RNO and knows what RNO is. Another son that brings hummus and pita so I can have some rest, and they pride on RNO. A daughter-in-law that actually works for the midwives and understands RNO. A son-in-law that Morgan yesterday wrote to me, was your son-in-law that did the Florence, because one time he acted me up. He's an actor and also a magnificent actor. And of course, the grandkids that fill me with energy, same as my staff and same as my board. To you guys, thank you. Next one, please, BG. Together We Can Do It was initiated in March 19, and it has not missed a beat. I need to tell you, because I'm not going to lie, that the first night when we started, I was frantically calling Susan, frantically calling Marianne, because the media wanted to see what was this all about. And I had no clue if anybody will be clapping or honking or anything. So basically I go, Marianne, please go to your neighbors, do something, get them together. Susan, do something. Heather, can you do something with your sister in Newfoundland? Like basically, it was a show. And sure enough, the media did show up, and it was profiled on CBC, and the rest is history. With Susan pounding every day, saying to staff, now these 5 ones need to do something with others. But you know, guys, people are talking about Together We Can Do It now, right? Marianne, I imagine every night with her fabulous message, others, people are talking. And let me show you what collective identity with Together Can Do It is all about. Next one, please, PG. So Florence Nightingale said, we must never forget that the individual makes the association. What the association is depends on each of its members. A nurses association can never, never be a substitute for the individual nurse. It is she, he, or they, I hope she would say today, who must each in her own way, or his or their way, measure, give life to the association, while the association helps her or him or they. The reality is, colleagues, this is what we call powering members. Powering members, so members are the ones that give life to the association. Powering members so that members are the ones that with us give us the journey. Members that give voice to this association, like no other association. And for that, let me show you next slide from the Together We Can Do It. Play it out. We can't hear. Can we hear? So a lot of noise, but we can't hear it. In any case, this is a family that they're not nurses. This couple got a message from a nurse, and I hope the nurse is in the audience. And that nurse, you can play it, PG, and that nurse said to the family, just so you know, RNAO, the Registered Nurses Association, is asking people to make noise every evening. And the Stevens family every single night is cheering up, and they have been in the radio and they spoke about RNAO, and guess what? They're not nurses. They're both teachers. So here you go, guys. We're powering nursing and beyond nursing, and for that, I thank you. I want to thank IFRA. Wait a minute, don't go yet. I didn't do this. I want to thank IFRA for pulling together a 3-day AGM, colleagues, a 3-day AGM in a way that, yes, of course, she had help from others in the association, not me, she did it, and she did it in a magnificent way. And I want to thank PG. PG's work this year, and in particular during COVID, has been admirable. You know those blogs at the beginning when things were very heated that you got at 3 in the morning? Yes, I wrote them, but PG is the one that would get a call because she agreed to that, and she sent them. So PG, to you, my heart, a special thank you. Thank you guys for a fantastic year again. Next one. Now we're done. To you guys, thank you. We did it again and together.
So now we'll hear a video from the Premier, Doris.
Very good.
I want to thank each and every member of the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario for their outstanding contribution during COVID-19. You're absolute heroes. Thanks to you, Ontario is in a better position today than we were 3 months ago. I know that Minister Fullerton is working hard to implement changes based on recommendations from you and other healthcare professionals. I also want to thank the RNAO for creating the Best Practices Guidelines program. These initiatives are helping to elevate Ontario's healthcare sector and protect our most vulnerable. I wish you a productive 95th AGM.
Thank you very much, Premier.
And thank you, Doris, for that wonderful presentation. It's outstanding to see the work RNAO is able to accomplish in only 1 year. The committee is again pleased to report on another year of robust and sustainable financial results. For the year ending October the 31st, 2019, the Association's 6 special purpose funds, which provide a vast range of members' benefits and services, educational opportunities, and legal assistance, professional liability coverage, and our internationally acclaimed best practice guidelines program, all reported positive surplus results. During the year, the association completed the sale of the home office, the proceeds of which made a significant financial contribution to our 219th financial results. In 2020, these proceeds were reinvested in the new home office, which will secure the sustainability of RNAO for many years to come. At the end, KPMG, the association external auditor, presented their unqualified opinion to the board of directors, and the board and executive committee are satisfied that the financial statements adequately disclose the scope of our activities. I would like to thank the committee members, board of directors, and staff for their thoughtful contributions and support in the business of the committee this year. I would now like to introduce Mr. Ali Taranji of the accounting firm KPMG to give the auditor's report. Ali?
Yes, thank you, Angela. As you mentioned, my name is Ali Thurani. I am the engagement partner on the RNAO audit and a partner with KPMG. Just before I get started, just wanted to express my gratitude to all of the nurses on the call. I wanted to thank you and express our genuine appreciation for all of your support, your sacrifice, and your courage in this trying time. As the Premier noted, we are ahead and better because of all of your commitment and effort today. So thank you before I get started. Moving on to the audit, I want to start by reminding everyone that the financial statements are the responsibility of management. Those charged with the governance, your board, your various committees, they're responsible for overseeing the entity's financial reporting process. And our deliverable to you is our auditor, as your auditor is our audit report. And before I get into that, I just wanted to say that we did have the full cooperation of Doris and Nancy and their respective teams, and were able to complete the audit on a timely basis. We had healthy discussions with management, but there was nothing contentious, and we felt management was very forthcoming and transparent in all our discussions with us. Doris and Nancy, thank you very much for your support and your effort throughout the audit, and thank you to your teams for getting us to a place where we are today. The audited financial statements were approved by your board on June 10th, a couple of days ago. And specifically in terms of our audit opinion, we would like to report that we did issue an unqualified opinion over the organization's financial statements, which is consistent with prior years. I'll just read you an excerpt from our audit opinion, which states, in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the entity as at October 31st, 2019, and its results of operations and its cash flows for the year ended in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. With that, I'll pass it back to Angela, and happy to answer any questions on the audit if there are any.
Thank you so much, Ali. At this time, we will ask any questions you have regarding the Executive Committee report or the audited financial statements. Please indicate by clicking on the participant box and selecting a raise hand if you do. You will then be unmuted and will have the floor to give your discussion or ask your questions. Ifra, are there any raised hands?
No raised hands at this moment.
Thank you.
Angela, we do have a raised hand from Paul Andre.
Okay.
Paul Andre, you've been unmuted. Go ahead.
Let's see. Hi. I was wondering, Angela, we didn't, as the voting representative, we didn't get a copy of the report.
No, the board did.
Yeah, but it's hard for us to discuss the financial report when we don't see it.
That's a good question. Doris, you would like to?
Point, Paul Andre. Defer it. Defer it. It's our mistake if it didn't go. You needed to get it.
Okay.
That's
So
it.
we'll defer the voting then.
Good point.
Thank you, Paul Andre. I would like to thank RNU staff and for their support on the work of this vital committee over the past year. The matter of appointing the association auditors for this fiscal year ending as October the 31st, 2020 has been decided by the one member, one vote process. And the results of this vote will be reported later on this afternoon. Next on the agenda is the Provincial Nominations Committee report, and I will provide that report. The following nominations for the board committee were received and will be appointed by RNU Board of Directors: Bylaw Committee, Leanne Whitney and Marianne Cochran; Provincial Nominations Committee, Seppaline Dana Ryan. And I would like to thank my colleagues who are members of this committee for their excellent work over the past year, and to the staff at Home Office for their support. Thank you to the members who put their name forward for the rewarding and enriching experience of serving on the Board of Directors or RNU's committee. I will officially welcome the acclaimed candidates to the Board of Directors later on in our program of events today, as we all announce the results of the committee appointment. The next agenda item is the Provincial Resolutions Report, and I will invite Kathleen Picard, Chair of the committee, to come forward. Kathleen.
Thank you, Angela, and hello to my fellow RNAO members. So the committee met on 2 occasions to review and discuss the 8-member resolutions, which were received by the deadline, 5 p.m. on December 16th, 2019. Based on the criteria for assessing and strengthening resolutions, the committee decided that 5 should be brought forward for discussion and decision at the annual general meeting. 1 resolution was withdrawn from its submitter. Members are reminded that resolutions can be submitted at any time during the year up to the deadline date. If resolutions are submitted ahead of the deadline, the committee will review submissions by email and provide feedback to the submitters. This will provide submitters with more time to have their resolution well prepared prior to the deadline. Resolutions coming forward from a member of the association as an additional new business item prior to the commencement of business at the AGM will not be accepted. This meets the stipulations in RNAO policy 6.07, item number 5. Members are encouraged to meet the deadline for submission of resolutions to the AGM. The Board of Directors has the right to submit a resolution up until any time of the date of the AGM. I would like to thank members of the association for their thoughtful development of the resolutions, as well as members of the committee for their hard work and dedication throughout the year.
Thank you, Kathleen. And thanks to all the members for the important resolutions that were submitted this year. Please note that the deadline for 2021 AGM submission will be in mid-December this year, and I would encourage you to think of issues that matter to you and your colleagues and patients, and to submit a resolution ahead of the deadline. A reminder that the proposed resolution will be dealt with later this afternoon. I would also like to add right now the Provincial Nominations Report, which includes the ticket of nominations which were posted on RNAO website on April the 13th, 2020. This year, the following positions were open for nominations: Regional 2 Representative, Regional 4 Representative, Regional 6 Representative, Regional 8 Representative, Regional 10 Representative, Regional 12 Representative. 1 representative of the interest group chair for a 2-year term. The deadline for the calls of nominations was December the 16th at 5 p.m. A second call was issued with a deadline of January the 20th, 2020. at 5 p.m. and the following nominations were received. And we do have acclaimed regional rep for Regional 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. And also acclaimed is the interest group rep. And there was voting for Region 6 rep. I will now ask for a motion to accept the Provincial Resolution Committee report exclusive of the recommendation. I'll need someone to move and a seconder. And please use the participation box to raise your hand, and please say your name and which chapter or region or interest group you're representing.
Angela, we have Paul-Andre Gauthier. I'm gonna unmute you so you have the floor. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Paul.
Thank you, Angela. Paul-Andre Gauthier. I so move from the Rainbow Interest Group. And I didn't get the time to ask my question before, but that was about the 2 resolutions that they were rejected. What was the reason?
Let's finish this voting first, Paul-Andre. We do need a seconder.
We have Marva McCullough, Region 6. You have the floor.
Marva McCullough, Region 6, I so second.
Thank you very much. And are there any questions? If you have a question, please raise your hand from the participation box.
Paul-Andre has a question. Go ahead, you're unmuted.
My question is about the 2 resolutions. 1 was withdrawn, but 2 were removed. What was the reason?
So I don't think Angela can answer because Angela was not even at the meetings. Usually, you know, there are 3 reasons why resolutions can be not moved, Paul-Andre, and it's in the criteria. One is, I'm trying to remember from memory, that the issue is already being dealt with at the board level and by RNO.
Yes.
The second is that an issue that is against the law. I can tell you that was not the issue. And so likely didn't meet the first criteria because the issue was already being dealt with, which has been sometimes in the past the same issue, as you may remember.
Are there any other questions? Seeing there are none, I would like to call the vote, and it will be posted, and you have 1 minute to complete the poll. So all in favor, oppose, or abstain, so you have 1 minute, and then submit. And Arlene will confirm the vote.
Arlene, can you confirm the vote before I share the result? You see the number?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor is 97%, none opposed, and 3 abstain. Thank you very much, Arlene. So it's carried. We'll now move to the Bylaw Committee report. And I would like to call Liliana Brassan, Chair of the Bylaws Committee, to come forward and give her committee report. Thank you very much, Kathleen, for giving your report.
Thank you, Angela, and hello to everyone joining us for our AGM this evening. The Bylaw Committee is mandated with the responsibility to annually review the association's bylaws, consider recommendations for bylaw changes, and propose revisions to bylaws which are congruent with the mission, values, and ends of RNAO. The committee met to review the recommendations from the RNAO Board of Directors to redefine the association's regional boundaries to align with Ontario's provincial electoral districts. The committee agreed that the recommendation should go forward to the membership for consultation via one member, one vote. I would like to thank the committee members for their participation in the business of the committee this year and Home Office for their outstanding support as always. I hope you all enjoy the remainder of the AGM and tomorrow's keynote speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Liliana. I would now ask for a motion to accept the Bylaws Committee report exclusive of the recommendations. I need a mover and a seconder. Please use the participation box. And if Ro would let me know who would be moving and who would be seconding.
So the first raised hand we have is David Grew, Sudbury Chapter.
Hi, it's David Grew from Sudbury Chapter. I so move.
Thank you. A seconder, please.
Janet Hunt, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, it's Janet Hunt, Middlesex Elgin. I so second.
Thank you. So now it's open for discussion. Please use the participation box again if you would like to ask any questions or contribute anything to this. Since there are none, we move towards the vote. Please complete the poll. Either you oppose, you're in favor, or you abstained. And Arlene would confirm the total vote at the end. You have 1 minute in which to complete your poll.
Arlene, can you please confirm you see the votes?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay, the results, 93% in favor, 1% opposed, and 7% abstain. It's carried. We will now move to one member, one vote. The results of this year one member, one vote consultation. Following the close of voting at noon on June the 11th, our chief scrutineer was the only one who had the access to the online voting results. Any proxy votes received by 8:30 a.m. today were added to the online voting results by the chief scrutineer. None of the results were shared at any time prior to the commencement of this annual general meeting. I now have the pleasure of reporting to you on the results of the voting of the governance item. This year, members were asked to vote on 3 things: amendment to the RNAO bylaw to align regional boundaries, appointment to KPMG as RNAO auditor for the fiscal year ending 2020, and 2020 candidates listed on the ticket of nominations for the board of directors. For the amendment to RNAO bylaws to realign the regional boundaries, members voted 83% in favor, 11% against, 6% abstained to the amendment to the RNAO bylaws, so it was carried. The appointment for KPMG, the vote was 93% in favor, 2% against, and 6% abstained to appointment of KPMG as RNAO auditor for the fiscal year ending 2020. And the 2,000 candidate listed on the ticket of nominations for the board of director position, I'm delighted to bring you the results of 2020 board of director ticket Nomination for Region 6 representative is Alicia Monisa. Congratulations, Alicia. I want to congratulate all candidates that put their names forward to run for these very important positions on the RNO Board of Directors and on committees. This is an excellent indication of our members' engagement and passion for RNO and their commitment to join a forward-thinking and dynamic professional association. Congratulations to everyone. I would now like to report that following this AGM, anonymous descriptive data on voting and voting patterns will be extracted for analysis, respecting the confidentiality and anonymity of voters. This data will be extracted within a reasonable time, and then all voting results will be permanently deleted from RNA servers, minus the anonymous descriptive data on voters and voting patterns, which will be kept for an indeterminate length of time. I will now like to close the official business of the 95th Annual General Meeting. We will now have a break for 10 minutes, and I will ask you to return. So right now it is 5:30. You're 10 minutes behind. So I'd like you to return 20 minutes to 6. Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone back. I hope you had a good 10 minutes break, whether you had a drink or walk up the steps to get some energy in your legs. There's one item I want to bring back before we get into the consultation session. I did mention the minutes of 2019, but we did not vote on them. We do need to vote on those minutes. So I would need someone to move and someone to second, and again to use the participation column so we could vote on those minutes of 2019. So Ifra, is there anyone?
Yes, Angela, we have Debbie Kane.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Debbie Kane from Windsor Essex Chapter, and I move that we approve them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because we did discuss them, we didn't vote on them.
Okay, so I move that we approve the minutes.
Yeah, and a motion again to be seconded.
We have Veronique
Bosgard, Waterloo Chapter. I shall second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Any questions? Any comments? Okay, all in favor, I'll call the vote.
1 second, Angela. I think there's Helen Tyndall from Wellington Chapter.
Yes, Helen.
I'm sorry, I pushed the wrong button. Hello.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
It's okay. So now I'll call the vote and the poll will go up and you could vote.
One more, Angela. We have Paula Manuel from the Peel Chapter.
Okay. Yes, Paula.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair. I just wanted to know if it's possible when we have members' voices, if there's a way to theme the topics that came up, because it would be great for historical reference to know what were the topics of a particular year from year to year. And sometimes it would identify if there's an issue that needs to be followed up on. And I got the sense that when I read the minutes, it says we had members' voices, but there was no way of capturing what those themes were. So it's just a point of a suggestion. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for that suggestion. Anything else? Okay, so I'll call the question. All in favor?
Ifra, you need to put the poll up so people can vote. Thank you.
Arlene, can you confirm the votes?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, 94%, no opposed, and 6 abstention. It's carried. Thank you very much. So we'll now move to the consultation session for 2020 for the proposed 5 resolutions. I would like to ask everyone here today if you have a conflict of interest to declare it now.
No declarations, Angela.
Thank you. So we will now go to what's the consultation session. Sorry, on the resolution, sorry. So for this consultation session, again, you would be using your participant box to raise your hand to second. We have a total of 8 minutes for total discussion on this first resolution. Each resolution has 8 minutes. And we would like all members are open to give input on the resolution, but the preferences given to our consultation reps before other members are given the opportunity. And if you have spoken once, then you have to give opportunity to the other people. You cannot speak twice unless there's no one asking any question. And if you each, the submitter has 2 minutes in which to address this resolution. And after that, everyone else is 1 minute. So I will now ask for the consultation for the Resolution 1 to be posted. Therefore, be it resolved that the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario actively lobby the Ontario government to amend the Smoke-Free Ontario Act 2017, banning the sale of all flavored vaping and e-cigarette products designed to appeal to youth, and to all advertisements that promote the use of vaping and e-cigarettes. I will now like to ask someone to move the resolution and then a seconder.
So we have Erin from the Pediatric Nurses Interest Group. You've been unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, Erin Colmetz from the Pediatric Nurse Interest Group. I so move.
Thank you. And a seconder?
We have Sarah Galley from Region 6.
Sarah Galley, Region 6, ISO second.
Thank you. Now it's open for discussion, but first the submitter should speak to this resolution for 2 minutes. And if that person is not willing to do so, he or she could defer it to someone else.
Hi there, my name is Chantal Singh and I'm the president of the Pediatric Nurses Interest Group. We submitted this resolution due to the increased number of cases that we've seen related to lung injury from vaping and e-cigarette use, specifically within the youth population. The youth age group in the amended resolution that was sent forward to IFRA, but I don't think it's posted up there, is defined by the Government of Canada up to the age of 24 years and younger. And we've seen in 2017 to 2018 a 74% increase in that. So we would like to have RNAO continue to lobby the government to further amend the Smoke-Free Ontario Act and to propose additional changes. Some changes were put forward to take effect July 1st, but it still does not ban all sale of flavored products, which are particularly targeting youth.
Thank you. It's now open for discussion.
Next, we have Ag Adbeo. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Hi, this is A.G. Adebayo from Pale Chapter. I so move.
Now is discussion, please.
Oh, I did not.
We had a mover and a seconder. Now is discussion. And after discussion, then we go towards the vote.
So next we have Sally Dampier. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sally. Okay, we'll move to Veronique Boscart next. You've been unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you, Veronique Boscart, Waterloo Chapter. We are in support of this resolution, but we had a question about the second part in the therefore be it resolved. Is the advertisements that promote the use of vaping and e-cigarette products, is that geared towards all advertisements or only those that appeal to youth?
Could the submitter respond to that question?
So it's in regards to all products, but in general, many of the products directly target youth. So it's to regulate how those advertisements are being portrayed through whatever advertising means.
Any other comments or discussion? Since there are none, I'd like to call the question. You have the poll to vote in.
One second, Angela, I think there's Sonia Chin.
Okay. Yes, Sonia.
Sonia, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
What to say? What if we go? That means
We'll go back to Sally Dampier. If you can try unmuting yourself now, go ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you, Sally Dampier from Lakehead Chapter. It was about the targeting the appeal to the youth, and I wondered if that is just confusing and it's just, you know, banning the e-cigarette products, period, to the youth.
Anyone else would like to add to the discussion or clarify?
Angela, we have Paula Manuel from Peel Chapter.
Okay, Paula.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Paul Emanuel, Field Chapter. In terms of helping out the authors of this resolution, we actually talked last night about the fact that with the advertisements, it was going to be all forms of the advertisements. And there was some debate about whether it would be all ages or to the youth. And the thought was that would change the intent of the resolution. So the authors were quite firm that they wanted it to be targeted for the youth. But I think there will be benefits to everybody if the advertisements were for everybody. So I think that's where the ambiguity might be. So I'm just a point of clarification that that's what everyone's kind of thinking in front of their screens. And thank you for your time.
If we change it to everyone, I think it would change the intent of the resolution.
It would.
Yes.
Oh, question from, yes, Doris?
You have to unmute her. Doris has to be unmuted, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so you all know, this issue was discussed in the Resolutions Committee and the same question came about. And the resolution submitters wanted youth for very specific reasons that are well outlined in the research. So this is what they want. This is the support they're asking, and the evidence behind it is well provided. So is that right to stick with it?
Totally.
Yeah, they narrow the population. Okay, yes, Doris. Could you unmute Doris, please? Ifra?
Ifra, don't mute me. I will mute and unmute myself. They're narrowing the population based on the research, though.
Yes.
This is what's important.
Yes.
The most affected population in terms of all of this, you know, the the taste and the different types that they do and the flavor is that population, because they're the most, you know, it's cool. So
I'm just
they know what they're doing.
Just 30 seconds left on this.
Okay. I think I would call the question. All in favor, and we will have the poll placed up. You have 1 minute in which to vote.
Arlene, can you confirm the number before I share?
Yes. Okay, 95% in favor, 1% oppose, and 4% abstain. It's carried. And I would like to call Kathleen to read all the subsequent resolutions. So Kathleen, you're on.
Thanks, Angela. So we're going to go on to resolution number 2, which was submitted by Jocelyn Radcliffe on behalf of the Ontario Nurses for the Environment Interest Group, and there were no known conflicts of interest. Whereas gaps in regulations may leave many rural Ontarians without water protection and over a dozen communities in Ontario without access to safe drinking water, many of which are Indigenous communities. Whereas the United Nations Human Rights Council has recognized that access to safe water and sanitation are human rights, and that these are directly tied to human health outcomes. Whereas privatization of municipal water and sanitation services turns water into a commodity to be sold for profit and reduces quality, transparency, and accountability while increasing health, social, and financial costs to citizens. Therefore, be it resolved that RNAO will work with the partners such as the Council of Canadians, David Suzuki Foundation, and the Ontario Public Health Association to lobby the Ontario government to secure ongoing public funding for water infrastructure and enhance protections against pollution and over-extraction for the ongoing sustainable provision of safe drinking water and sanitation for every resident in Ontario.
I would like someone to move this resolution, and a seconder. Please use the participation box.
We have Jocelyn Radcliffe. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Oh, I cannot move it as I'm the submitter.
Okay. Next, we have Paul-Andre Gauthier. Go ahead. You've been unmuted.
Paul-Andre Gauthier, I so move the resolution number 2. And I'm
Thank you.
The Rainbow Interest Group.
Thank you. A seconder, please.
We have Helen Tyndale. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Helen Tyndale, Wellington Chapter. I so second.
Okay, so now we will ask the submitter to speak to this resolution for 2 minutes, and then it's open to the rest of the representatives.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do have some amendments. I'll propose those later. First, I want to thank Jean Lambert, who co-wrote this resolution. Last month was the 20th anniversary of the Walkerton water crisis. While it prompted an important first wave of water legislation, today advocates like those at the Canadian Environmental Law Association are concerned that the lessons from this tragedy are being forgotten. In one of her last reports as the Environmental Commissioner of Ontario, Diane Sachs wrote, "Pollution threats are not static, and vigilance to protect drinking water sources will always be needed, yet uncertainty about funding leaves the future of this critical program up in the air. And the source protection framework does not protect most Ontario lakes, rivers, and groundwater, including the drinking water sources of Ontarians with private wells or in most northern and Indigenous reserve communities. ongoing drinking water advisories in First Nations in Ontario were part of what prompted Amnesty International to publicly call out this injustice, urging Canada to implement the principles of UNDRIP and the rights to safe water and sanitation. As nurses, we must use our voices for equity, and we must ensure that our actions are led by Indigenous peoples. This resolution uses a rights-based approach that asks RNEO to hold the government to its responsibility to provide access to safe water and sanitation for all, including those in First Nations communities, those who struggle to pay water bills, the nearly 20% that don't rely on municipal water systems, and really all of us, whose health relies on the health of our lakes, waterways, and groundwater. Alongside the existing threats to water, climate change is leading to increasingly unpredictable weather patterns with more flooding and droughts, which compromises both water safety and availability. Warmer water combined with fertilizer runoff is contributing to more toxic algae blooms in the Great Lakes. And while there are already gaps in legislation, new proposals and needs continue to emerge. Just months ago, Bill 132 weakened environmental protections by limiting fines for water pollution and the ability of municipalities to protect their groundwater from aggregate mining. This resolution is about protecting water, which is essential for life today and into the future. With this resolution, we ask that RNEO stand up for water security, environmental justice, and health.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to add to this discussion?
We have Dale from Region 1. Go ahead.
Hi, it's Dale. I was going to second the motion. That's why my hand was up.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll go to Margarita. Go ahead. You've been unmuted. Margarita, you have the floor. Go ahead. Okay, we don't have any other raised hands.
Okay, so I will ask the question. You will vote on the poll. You have the option, all in favor, those opposed, and any abstention. Would you please post the poll, please, Ifra?
Yeah.
I think I'm unmuted. I had an amendment that I just sent to Ifra, so I'm sorry to interrupt this process, but it was really important that the language was changed.
I would like some clarification from our parliamentarian here.
Are you a consultation rep?
I am, and yes, I am. And I think as we were directed yesterday that if we had sent our changes, that they would be presented here today. And so Ifra has messaged me and I had sent the amendment to her.
Okay, so when we got to discussion, you could have raised your hand and then that would have allowed you to speak to the amendment, to make the amendment.
So Charlotte, I would like for allowance given the challenges of virtual AGM.
During that time, I was, sorry.
To allow Ifra to introduce the amendments, if you would please adjust that, simply because this is not the normal process, and I just want to give the chance.
I would support that decision. So we'll remove the poll right now, and we'll allow for an amendment to be put in. So this amendment, you can move it, and then you will need a seconder.
And Ifra, then you need to add at least 1.5 minutes to this discussion, which is the time that took for us to discuss.
Yes.
So Kathleen, would you please read the amendment? The therefore be it resolved?
Therefore be it resolved that build upon existing partnerships with Indigenous partners and collaborate with other partners engaged in water protection to lobby the federal and Ontario governments to secure the right to safe water and sanitation for all, including securing processes that support sustainable public funding for water infrastructure, public ownership of water utilities, and enhance protections against pollution and over extraction, for the ongoing sustainable provision of safe drinking water and sanitation for every resident in Canada, in Ontario.
Okay, we need someone to move this motion and then a seconder, and then it will be open for discussion.
Jocelyn can move it because she is a consultation rep, so we only need a seconder.
So we
I'll confirm. I so move.
Paul Emmanuel, go ahead. You've been unmuted.
Thank you. I so second the amendment to the second resolution.
Okay, now it's open for discussion.
We have Heather App from Peel. You've been unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, I was putting my hand up to be the seconder. Sorry.
Okay. Anyone?
Una Ferguson. Go ahead, Una. You've been unmuted.
I also had put my hand up for seconding.
Okay. David Groot from Sudbury. Go ahead.
Hi, David Grew, Sudbury Chapter. I'd just like to amend this wording slightly such that we put RNAO after that. So therefore be it resolved that RNAO.
You can't. It's
You
out of order to amend an
You can't
amendment.
amend it. It's on the floor. It's already amended and it's being discussed. It was voted upon and seconded, so you can't amend it now. It has to go through the process of discussion and then the vote.
So my
And if it
discussion
doesn't
would
pass
then-
the vote, then we go back.
So my discussion would therefore be around the fact that this is not clear in terms of what is meant. There's something missing between therefore be resolved that and then building upon.
That RNO, RNO, the word missing, you're right, is that RNO built upon existing partnerships.
Yes, for clarification, the original motion after the be it resolved said RNAO will. So we need to add in RNAO will after that.
So if after the word that, add the word RNO, and that does it. So Madam Chair, you can continue. Everybody can keep one word in their mind.
Okay.
Especially if that word is RNO.
Okay. Now I will ask, is there any more discussion? Because this is becoming a very lengthy process for just this one resolution. Is there any other discussion?
Angela, we have Felicia Joseph. Go ahead.
I decline. I wanted to repeat to insert the word RNAO. Felicia Joseph, Durham, Northumberland.
Okay. Anyone else?
Angela, that is time.
Okay.
Pardon?
So we need to now vote on the amendment.
Okay, we will vote on the amendment. So please put the poll up. All in favor, those opposed? Any abstentions?
Just a disclaimer, some of this has been cut off because of the word limit, but you are voting on what is on the slide.
Yes. Arlene, could you give us the results, please?
Yes.
Okay, in favor, 98%, 2 opposed, and 1% abstention. It's carried.
So now we need to vote on the full resolution.
Okay. So please put the poll up again.
Lorraine, can you confirm the number before I share?
Yes. Okay, all in favor is 97%, 1% opposed, and 2% abstained. So it's carried.
Okay, resolution number 3, to initiate research and increase awareness of the importance of strong environmental laws. Submitted by Margarita Salvatore and Hilda Swirsky. No known conflicts of interest. Whereas research-based evidence links the impacts on human health both positively and negatively to our environment. Whereas the provincial government's passing of Bill 132, the Better for People, Smarter for Business Act in 2019 will decrease over 80 current environmental bills, which has protected our environment. Therefore, be it resolved that RNAO work collaboratively with its partners to initiate environmental research demonstrating the importance of promoting and preserving strong environmental laws that benefit Ontario's populations. Be it further resolved that RNAO increase members and stakeholders' awareness of the detrimental impacts, especially to marginalized populations and outside workers, of weakened environmental legislation.
Okay, we like a mover and a seconder, and I just saw a message that there is amendment to this resolution. So Ifra, is there amendment that you receive on resolution 3?
I do. Do you want me to share that now, or are we voting on?
I think we would share it if it was in agreement with the submitter.
Is the amendment coming from the submitters?
Yes, they submitted it last night.
So I think because of the technology issue, I would recommend that we see the amended resolution.
Yes.
As we had agreed on. Thank you.
Okay.
So would you please
I
read
will,
it, Kathleen?
Yes, therefore be it resolved that RNAO continue to work collaboratively with its partners, members, and stakeholders to promote and to preserve strong environmental laws that benefit Ontario's populations. Be it further resolved that RNAO actively lobby the government for strong environmental laws.
Okay, I will now ask for a mover and a seconder to this revised resolution, amended resolution. Yes, Doris.
I do want to comment for the fairness of resolutions.
Yes.
That if this resolution would have come in this format to RNAO originally, it may have been a possibility that it didn't qualify because we are doing it already. That going back to the question of Paul Andre, why other resolutions didn't. However, given the technology, you know, you may want to leverage, but this is something we do, right? And in fact, it says the resolution to continue to work. Now, given the situation in Ontario that regulations, environmental law regulations are being, you know, shut down, it might be beneficial to keep it anyways. But I just wanted to be transparent on it's not something we are not doing.
Okay, with that input, does the submitters have any comments?
It's Hilda, Region 6, Hilda Swirsky. I just wanted to say that there was just trying to get across that we want to raise awareness, more awareness to that these things are happening. Like, it's just these bills are being very quickly eliminated, and the government's doing such a sneaky way of doing it. For example, we quoted Bill 132, but Bill 66 is another bill, and the government says it's restoring Ontario's competitive act, but at the same time, what it's doing is getting rid of all the protections for the green belt. So we felt that it was important to just draw attention to these environmental laws because they are disappearing and weakening so quickly and done in an underhanded way.
Doris has a comment.
So I want to comment on process first of all. I want to comment on RNO's work. RNO is doing that. And I want to comment more importantly on the outcome of this resolution. If this resolution passes, it's something we will continue to do. If this resolution doesn't pass, I wouldn't want government to think that we are not supporting what this resolution says. So in my view, my best advice as your CEO and as a non-voting member of the board is that you either withdraw this resolution or that you again allow for an amendment, and I will let Charlotte comment on that, about that RNO increase its public education about et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because defeating this resolution will send the wrong message in the sense that it's something we support as RNO, right? So Charlotte, I don't know if you can enable another amendment that says that RNO increase the awareness of the public too. It's not about members really.
I think if you added that and be it further resolved that RNO increase the public's awareness of the having strong environmental laws and any risk that new laws may undermine.
Yeah, to increase public awareness.
To increase public awareness.
Yeah, and we'd leave it at that because that's very powerful, guys. That's very powerful. Nurses have a critical trust of the public. So for RNO to take a role of increasing public awareness is big.
That's what I meant. I wanted to increase
but that's not what it says.
awareness.
So now this amendment would be amended again.
Hilda can add that part of the sentence.
Okay, be it further resolved that RNO increase the public's awareness of the detrimental impacts, especially to marginalized population, of weakened environmental legislation.
Yes.
Point of order, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I don't think we can, I'm just going to ask for clarification. The author is amending their amendments, is that correct?
The author is asking for clarification, given information on the operation and the activities that RNO head office is now doing.
Okay, so in this
virtual one, we're doing a little bit more leniency because of the fact that
it's all new.
It's all new, and with every new learning curve, there has to be a little bit of give and take in the tolerance levels.
But I would also say, based on last night's discussion, because I have a good auditory memory,
right.
A lot of us members, and this is the key thing, the members, were actually not in favor of the resolution the way it was written. It was very broad. Now it's much tighter and it has a focus. And I think that's what's really great about it. So whenever we have a chance to move, I can move. Paul Emanuel, Peel Chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. We need a seconder.
We have Diane Millington. Go ahead, Diane.
I would like to second that.
Thank you.
Okay, what chapter or region?
Durham, Northumberland chapter.
Thank you. Now, is there any further discussion on this amended resolution?
We need to see it first, Madam President.
Yeah, it has to be typed in.
Can you kindly clarify where the edits are? If you could read out the amendments for me.
That RNO increase, I believe. That's what I heard. Increase its public awareness and continue to work. I think. Is that
Right.
Yes.
Right. Increase the public's awareness of the detrimental.
Right after Areneo, Ifra.
Are you talking about the therefore be it resolved?
Yes,
That's
it is
right.
therefore be it resolved.
Right there.
On the second one.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
second
sure.
one down here.
Yeah.
After Areneo, Ifra. Sorry, Ifra. I know it's difficult.
So you have to undo some, yeah.
After Areneo,
So
right?
we put it
In
in
the
this
second,
line here.
increase public awareness. And actively, that's it. Increase public awareness of and actively lobby. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So any further discussion?
Angela, we have Marva McCullough from Region 6. Marva, go ahead. Marva, can you unmute yourself?
I am on mute, but when I raised my hand, I wanted to be the seconder. I wasn't doing any amendment.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? I would like to call the question if no further discussion. Seeing there is no further discussion, I'll call the question to vote for it. In favor? Any abstentions?
The poll is gone.
Yeah, thanks for the poll. Arlene, could you give us the results, please?
Yes.
71% in favor, 12 opposed, 17 abstained. Okay, it's carried. So we'll now move to resolution number 4, and I will ask Kathleen to read that resolution.
Okay, resolution number 4, legislative reform and infrastructure development for the mistreatment of older adults with dementia within the home context. Submitted by Maria Cass on behalf of Sudbury and District Chapter, no known conflict of interest. Whereas prevalent rates of mistreatment of older Canadians living at home without cognitive impairment has risen from 4% to 8.2%, and studies have revealed alarmingly higher prevalence when older adults have dementia, ranging from 34.9% to 62.3%. And whereas in Ontario, practitioners from various disciplines, including nurses who have access to these isolated at-risk older adults, have described the legislative barriers, lacks of support, and the burden of sole responsibility for these cases, resulting in powerlessness to end the mistreatment, which frequently end in a crisis. And whereas other Canadian and international jurisdictions have demonstrated effective legislative policies and practices which are designed to protect these at-risk adults. Therefore, be it resolved that RNAO advocate the provincial government to institute legislative reform and infrastructure development to support professional intervention in cases of mistreatment of older adults with dementia by an informal caregiver within the home.
I saw a comment from the region where this submission came from saying that it was amended last night. Do we have an amended resolution 4?
Yeah, yes, I can share that.
Please do. Okay, so it's amended. Kathleen, could you read that amended?
So therefore be it resolved that RNAO advocate the provincial government to institute legislative reform and infrastructure development to support professional intervention in cases of mistreatment of older adults with a neurocognitive disorder by an informal caregiver within the home.
Okay, I will ask for a mover and a seconder.
We have Jeanette. Go ahead. From Sudbury.
Hello, Jeanette Linton back from the Sudbury District Chapter. I so move.
Thank you. I like a seconder.
We have C. The name is not fully spelled out, but you can go ahead. You're unmuted. Go ahead. All right, we'll move on. We have Paul Andre. You can go ahead.
Paul-André Gauthier, I second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. It's now, I will ask the submitter, you have 2 minutes to give any information for the discussion, and then I'll ask other representatives. So they have 1 minute per person.
Hello, Jeanette Linton back from the Sudbury Chapter. I will present on Maria's behalf. This resolution forces us to confront uncomfortable realities. Older adults with neurocognitive disorders who live at home with a caregiver are at far greater risk of mistreatment. Family members are most often perpetrators. In cases of malicious intent, caregivers can and do prevent access to the older adult, and current legislation prevents practitioners from safeguarding those at risk. Currently in Ontario, legislation only exists for residential settings. Therefore, in the home, practitioners must rely on the Criminal Code of Canada, which requires a mistreatment to equate a crime, the Substitute Decision Act, which requires evidence of incapacity and serious adverse effects prior to investigation, and FIPA, which requires reasonable grounds versus reasonable suspicion. This piecemeal leaves practitioners powerless to act and most often results in crisis. Infrastructure is also lacking in Ontario. Cases are not assigned to any one profession nor organization. These cases are not anyone's clear professional nor legal responsibility, and the Ontario Public Guardian and Trustee only intervenes in cases of grave violations. Given the sensitive nature of this issue, I want to clarify that this resolution does not propose a protectionist regime which may strip capable older adults of their rights. Instead, this province can be inspired by British Columbia and the United Kingdom, where safeguarding exists for all adults. Risk and not age is the determinative concept, and a balanced approach between safeguarding and autonomy is included in the legislation. I thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Angela, we have Marva McCullough from Region 6. Marva, you can go ahead.
That was before. There's a delayed reaction. This was for the other amendment. So just ignore that.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to ask if once you raise your hand, you can lower your hand by clicking the same button once we've passed that section.
Okay, any further discussion on this amended resolution?
Anya Chin from Region 7. Anya, please go ahead.
I'll just give a 1 minute warning at this point.
Ifra, Sonia is still, the lady is still muted.
Anya, can you try unmute yourself? There you go.
I've unmuted myself.
Go ahead, Sonia.
I'm just saying, I am understanding what it says up to neurocognitive disorder. I'm not sure about by an informal caregiver within the home. What does that mean?
Informal caregivers are either family or friends. They are not hired, they are not professionals, they are not personal support workers that would be paid to provide a service.
Okay.
Quick 30-second warning.
But who is supposed to be doing this service? Like, I'm just saying, I'm not sure I understand about it. The informal caregiver is the perpetrator or what? What, I'm not understanding it.
Yes, I'm sorry. The informal caregiver is the perpetrator. In 85 to 90% of the cases, it is a family member.
That is the, okay, now I got it. Okay. That part, I just wasn't getting it, okay, when I read it.
I think we need to call the question.
I think that's time. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to call the question. All in favor, oppose, any abstention?
There is a lot of noise in the background, guys, either papers or maybe Ifra, you want to mute people. Now someone is on the phone, Ifra. Or PG.
Can you go ahead?
Can you mute people?
Oh, okay. Just a sec, I'll get you. Okay.
Okay, Arlene, can you confirm the number?
Yes.
Okay, it's 90% in favor, 4 oppose, and 6 abstain. This is carried. Thank you very much. We now move to resolution 5, and I'll ask Kathleen to read it.
Okay, resolution number 5, the last one. Addressing vaccine hesitancy, submitted by May Tao and Susan Tam on behalf of the Community Health Nurses Interest Group and no known conflict of interest. Whereas there is a lack of credible information to foster vaccine acceptance and the importance of vaccinations in preventing diseases and protecting health for parents or legal guardians who are responsible for making informed decisions to immunize their children. Whereas registered nurses are the most trusted healthcare professionals and can therefore play a significant role in providing accurate health information regarding vaccination, which supports informed decision-making by parents and legal guardians to immunize their children, thereby increasing immunization rates across the province of Ontario and contributing to the health protection of all Ontarians. Whereas registered nurses need evidence-based knowledge and resources to counsel parents or legal guardians on vaccine hesitancy and misinformation. Therefore, be it resolved that the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario develops a plan to support RNs and NPs to promote the importance of vaccines, vaccination, and addressing vaccine hesitancy among health professionals.
First of all, I'd like to ask, was this resolution amended last night?
Yes, I received a copy. Can I share that?
If it was, then, and the submitters are in agreement, we should go to the amended resolution right away. Thank you. So Kathleen, could you read the amended?
Therefore, be it resolved that the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario develops and implements a plan to empower RNs, NPs, and nursing students to promote the importance of vaccines and address vaccine hesitancy across the lifespan, as well as among health professionals to increase vaccine knowledge and uptake within communities.
Thank you. I would like a mover and a seconder.
Angela, we have Jocelyn Radcliffe. Go ahead.
Hi, Jocelyn Radcliffe from ONIG. I so move.
Thank you. Seconder.
We have David Grew from Sudbury Chapter. Go ahead.
Hi, David Grew, Sudbury Chapter. I second the motion.
Thank you. Now I'd like the submitter to speak to this resolution. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. So good evening, everyone. This resolution was submitted by myself, Susan Tam, President-elect, and May Tao, current President, on behalf of our interest group, the Community Health Nurses Initiatives Group. First off, we would like to express our thanks and appreciation to the feedback provided by our consultation and board representatives last evening, as they were extremely helpful. Collectively, as an interest group, our resolution on addressing vaccine hesitancy is of great significance, especially seeing that the World Health Organization has named vaccine hesitancy as one of the top 10 threats to global health. I practice as a public health nurse in the area of immunization in Durham region, and it has been echoed again and again among my nursing colleagues, both novice and experienced nurses within and outside of my health unit, that we need more evidence-based tools, resources, and approaches, such as motivational interviewing. And this is to enable nurses to be able to be confident in supporting our clients and making informed decisions about vaccines, especially among individuals who are vaccine hesitant. Facts alone may not change a person's mind regarding vaccines. For example, today we still hear from clients telling us that MMR causes autism, the vaccine causes autism, and that breastfeeding will protect their babies from vaccine preventable diseases. And because nurses are in a position of trust in our community and can have these meaningful discussions to help someone understand the importance of vaccines and move towards being more accepting to receive vaccines. Working with vaccine hesitant individuals across the lifespan, whether they be children, adolescents, parents, adults, seniors, in a group setting, this takes evidence-based knowledge, skill, and practice. As nurses, we need to be aware and address our internal biases and attitudes towards immunizations. And we also collaborate with various key stakeholders to facilitate access and uptake of immunizations, including pharmacists, doctors, the receptionists, school board teachers, newcomer centers, community leaders, and so forth. Therefore, we have a valuable role to address vaccine hesitancy, not only with our individual clients, but also with our health and community partners. This is a public health and community health issue. It's a nursing issue and health issue affecting individuals and communities today and our future generations. The issue of hesitancy towards vaccines is especially complex and important in today's current COVID-19 climate, considering that our goal is to develop herd immunity and prevent subsequent waves of COVID-19. I'm going to invite May to speak further to this.
And the other speaker has 1 minute.
Yes, I will. So vaccination is important to prevent and control infectious disease in Canada and globally. And this is why there is an urgency to develop a vaccine for COVID-19. A recent survey that was conducted in France about the COVID-19 vaccine found that 26% of the respondents aged 18 and older stated that if a COVID-19 vaccine becomes valuable, they will not get the vaccine. In Canada, there is an estimated 20% of people are vaccine hesitant. Sinead is asking the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario to develop and implement a comprehensive plan to empower RNs, MPs, and nursing students to promote the importance of vaccine and address vaccine hesitancy across the lifespan, as well as among health professionals to increase vaccine knowledge and uptake within communities.
Thank you, May. That's time.
RNAO will research, evaluate, and identify the best method and stakeholders.
Sorry, May, thank you. That's time.
Anyone else want to add to the discussion? You have 1 minute.
There's no raised hands in the.
Okay, I'd like to call the question. The poll will be placed on the screen and you have 1 minute to complete the poll once it's put up. Could we get the results?
Yes.
89% in favor, 6% opposed, 5 abstention. It's carried. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to thank Kathleen and the Resolution Committee and to all of our consultation representatives for committing to attend the AGM and to participate in this important and invigorating process. Thank you to everyone. We would now like to move to RNO Recognition Awards. At this time, I have the distinct pleasure of asking our CEO, Dr. Doris Greenspan, to join me to present the RNO Recognition Awards and Media Awards. In light of not being able to meet in person and to celebrate these outstanding winners, we will take a moment to recognize them now and look forward to celebrating in person in the near future. First, we'll honor a group of outstanding RNs with our 2020 recognition awards. Our winners span various sectors of the health system, and they have all contributed to nursing and to the health of Ontarians in their own unique way. First of all, I'd like to announce the winner of the Leadership Award in Nursing Research, and it's Carrie McLaughlin. I'm not saying it right, Kelly, sorry.
And I am thrilled to announce the Leadership in Nursing Education Award to our colleague, Dr. Luella Manakil Rankin. Congratulations.
I'd like to announce the Leadership Award for Nursing Administration, Esther Mugahan.
And I am thrilled to announce the Leadership in Nursing Education Staff Development to Alicia Monesar. Congratulations.
I would like to announce the Leadership in Clinical Nursing Practice. There are 2 recipients, Eric Rankin and Salima Laddak.
And it gives me an absolute thrill and pleasure to announce 2 winners of the Lifetime Achievement Award. The first one, our past board member and well-known Una Ferguson, and the second, also a very well-known colleague, who also we respect hugely, Vicky McKenna, President of ONA.
I would like to announce the Leadership Award in Student Mentorship, Susan Fredericks.
And I was thrilled when I was looking yesterday on the awards and discovered that my next HAP fellowee is nobody else but Lamo Dolkar, who was also in our board and who is awesome. Thank you. Looking forward to spending a full week with you, Lamo.
Okay, so I'd like to announce the Student of Distinction Award, Michael Martel.
And here is a surprise, double, like good coffee, is Una Ferguson getting another award, the Award of Merit. Congratulations, Una.
I would like to announce the Chapter of the Year Award. It goes to Sudbury Chapter.
And I am pleased to announce that Trent University is the winner of the Promotion of Nursing Program Award.
I would like to announce the interest group of the year is the Community Health Nurses Initiative Group, Sinead.
That's a large group. And I'm thrilled to announce that Cepelin Dionarin is the winner of Political Action. Not surprised about that, Cepelin.
I'd like to announce the Leadership Award in Best Practice Implementation, Arlene Masaba.
And just so you know, Arlene is doing the work all the way in Qatar, doing amazing work. And what a nice haircut you have, Arlene, now.
So we will now go to the Media Awards. RNA Annual Media Awards honor journalists for outstanding work that help Ontarians better understand nursing and health. There are a total of 9 awards presented each year in the following categories. Best news coverage, it could be daily newspaper, community newspaper, radio, or television. Best in-depth feature story or series, it could be daily newspaper, community newspaper, radio, and television. And best online story, and entries are scored by an independent panel of judges consisting of nurses and journalists.
I am absolutely thrilled to announce that the best in-depth feature or series, radio, are Amanda Pfeiffer and Jennifer Chevalier from CBC Ottawa. Congratulations to both of you.
I'd like to announce the community newspaper best in-depth feature or series, the Manitoulin Expositor for Warren Chilot.
Beautiful. And the best news coverage community newspaper is Derek Dunn from Anprior Chronicle Guide. Congratulations.
I'd like to announce the daily newspaper best news coverage, and it goes to several recipients. Ryerson University, Humber College, Toronto Star, National Observer, Global News, Carleton University.
And the best news coverage television is Andrea Culbert, Lori Ward, and Habiba Noshin from CBC Investigative Unit. Congratulations.
I would like to announce the television best in-depth feature series, and there are 4 recipients: Andrea Wesley, Diane Swain, Stephen Davis, Claude Panet Raymond.
And the best story online is Laura Hensley from Global News. And I see that Laura Hensley is also with Laura Whelan. Congratulations.
I'd like to announce the daily newspaper best in-depth feature or series from with the Ottawa Citizen, Bruce D. Dutchman, sorry. Congratulations.
Congratulations to this year's winners, and we look forward to celebrating you in person as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President.
So now I would like to acknowledge our outgoing board members who have served so faithfully. I want to thank them for the work that they've done and their contributions to RNAO. Purush Kabada, Rhonda Seidman Carlson, Shalom Globerman, and Brad Manuel. Thank you so much for your service. I never say goodbye because I know I will be meeting you somewhere among our RNAO members. Thank you so much. We will now move on to the next item on the program. Before we welcome our incoming board, I'd like to please, sorry, I did make that already. This time, sorry, time commitment has hard work and inspiring engagement they have put in our association is invaluable. It's been a privilege to work with you over the past year. On behalf of RNAO, we thank you deeply for your exemplary dedication and active participation on RNAO's board of directors. We look forward to continuing to work with you as members. I've heard from you say many times that your volunteer commitment with RNAO is not done. I wish you great success in all your future endeavors. Now, I would like to introduce the 2020 to 2021 Board of Directors. I would now recognize those who are claimed and those Board of Directors. So Morgan Horvath is now going to be our president. I am Angela. I will be your immediate past president. Betty Aldershaw, Region 1, Christy Butler, Region 2, Nathan Kelly, Region 3, Anita Sangsit, Region 4, Leanne Turner, Region 5, Alicia Monsier, Region 6, Soyan Sito, Region 7, Alison Kern, Region 9, Doris Jenkins, Region 10, Liliana Bresson, Region 11, Michael Sorrello, Region 12, Julie Rebel, Interest Group Chair, Maria Rugg, Interest Group Chair Rep, and Rudolfo de Lastimosa Jr. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I want to say congratulations to all of you. I look forward to working with you over the next year. And it's now time for me to just give my report. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is a privilege and honor to address you today on this momentous occasion. I am expressing my sincere thanks and appreciation to RNAO members who have supported me as your president over the past 2 years. I have witnessed your compassionate, courageous, selfless, committed, and competent work. I have witnessed your giving of yourselves, your knowledge, skills, and abilities you apply in your work with patients and families. You have inspired and challenged me, and I have learned a lot from you. My largest satisfaction as president has been to meet with you, our members, during the fall tours of 2018 and 2019 and other visits. I enjoy meeting with you across this province where you live and work. I visited many regions and chapters such as Region 10, 11, 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4. If I did not meet you in your regions or chapters, I've connected with you during the assembly meetings. You are amazing, and you will remain in my heart forever. I am also inspired by the thousands of people who have been in recent weeks in the street, in the media, and everywhere else fighting against racism for equal for all. I am so proud to be a Black woman and president of RNAO, and an organization that truly believes we need to be drivers of positive and sustained change for future generations. Our profession too has challenges with racism and discrimination. We too must continue to tackle these challenges head on. I am proud of the statement we issued and know that RNAO will continue to play a leading role speaking against racism and its manifestation in health and healthcare, which undoubtedly affect health outcomes. These are issues very close to my heart, and I had the opportunity to provide webinars on embracing cultural competence in the workplace and providing the keynote address on cross-cultural adaptation from one country to another at CARE Internationally Educated Nurses graduation. I thank Dr. Vanessa Borowski, former past president, for her support and guidance, and our CEO, Dr. Doris Greenspan, members of our board of directors, RNAO staff, for their support over the past 2 years. I have learned so much from all of you about the collective working for evidence-based practice and advancing health for all. Having a collective and powerful voice, that's what RNAO excels at. We have had a busy and productive year, raising our voices on many important issues. With your collective voice and recruitment efforts, we have moved from a membership of 41,000 in 2018 when I took the leadership and to now over 43,408 in 2020. We are on our way to achieving 45,000 members in 2021. I thank you and our CEO for achieving this goal. I have served as president with the same spirit and commitment that I have worked as a nurse all my life. I chose nursing as a young woman and I have never looked back. It changed me and my perspective on life. Through nursing, I've learned to care for others and put them first, to be compassionate, share my love, servanthood, courage, and to make a difference. This is why I've entitled my speech, Leading from the Boardroom. This title implies leading with integrity and moral courage inside and outside the organization, adhering to values, strategic directions, ethical codes, fostering the culture of RNU, and leading by example. These are the values we convey in our meetings with numerous politicians. As we met with Prime Minister Trudeau, ministers, the Premier Doug Ford, ministers Christine Elliott, Marilee Fullerton, Peter Bettenfalvey, Rob Phillips, Caroline Maroney, as well as many MPPs, including Lorne Coe, my MPP from Whitby, leader of the official opposition, Andrea Hovat, Green Party leader, Mike Schreiner, as well as many members of the Liberal Party, including MPP Mitzi Hunter. These meetings provided opportunities to advocate for healthy public policy, speaking out for health, speaking out for nursing. Two of my accomplishments were contributing to governance by identifying the loophole in the criteria for selecting the president-elect and raising the issue at board meetings, which resulted in one member, one vote in 2019. This has enhanced the criteria for selecting future president-elects. I've also worked to leverage and to protect RNA's branding and mitigating RNA's reputational risk, as sometimes non-members of RNA attempt to use RNA's logo for their purposes. That was stopped with our immediate action. My highlight has been policy advocacy. It is one of my areas of strength. I enjoy advocating for healthy public policy, for nursing and health. You and I have advocated for increasing the NP's scope of practice by asking our Minister of Health, Christine Elliott, and other MPPs in Durham region and across this province to fully utilize NPs to their full scope of practice. In 2009, the Minister of Health and the College of Nurses expanded the scope of practice for NPs. I implore you to continue advocating. We must defend and protect the full scope of practice for RNs. It is being undermined and eroded in many ways and at many levels. Think about that. We cannot talk about policy without talking about the health emergency we have lived through during the last few months. No one signed up for their current role, including me as RNU president, knowing we would face this once in a lifetime pandemic. I cannot begin to express my pride with the roles nurses have played in every corner of the world. This is truly the year of the nurse. COVID-19 brought the best and worst. Such remarkable stories of nurses' courage as they face their fear, their resiliency and commitment as they face the exhaustion and shortage of PPEs, their knowledge and caring as they face the unknown, their kindness and love to patients as they face their concern of bringing the virus to their families. How energized and inspired I am by you all. I must express my deep sadness at the healthcare providers who lost their lives around the world and here in Ontario, not to speak of the thousands who became ill or traumatized or had to live separate from their families. Your contributions to patients and families will never be forgotten. Healthcare providers, you inspire me through your everyday acts of courage, kindness, love, and humility. We have had to face the policy issue of COVID-19, particularly the tragedy in long-term care. We are calling for long-term care to be included in Ontario health teams, to be connected as part of the full healthcare system, to modernize the funding formula for long-term care and modernize staffing mix at long-term care immediately. Time is of essence. We must use the present opportunity to advocate for these changes. So continue to raise this issue with your MPPs. Watch like a hawk for July the 31st, 2020, and demand that RNO staffing model be adopted as the government's policy. Another highlight is working with its awesome, supportive, and visionary and courageous, knowledgeable, compassionate, and transformative leader, Dr. Doris Greenspan. Few leaders I've worked with can step in her shoes. She loves and cares for people deeply and goes beyond duty to meet their needs. I throw a bouquet of flowers to you, Doris. This is for you, Doris. Bouquet of flowers for you, Doris. Your work, Doris, during the past year deserves the Office of the Order of Canada. My journey was a wondrous adventure full of surprises and joys. Let us remember that we are always influencing others by our words, behaviors, and actions. Sometimes we may be misunderstood, but take courage and press forward for what is right, just, and honorable. I challenge you to continue on the path of growth, career development, policy advocacy, creation of new resources with the enthusiasm and wonderment. I would like to honor two influential women, my mother who told me I can do anything I set my mind to do, and I believed her. And the other is Dr. Helen Glass. She was the coordinator of graduate studies when I went to do my master's in Manitoba. Dr. Glass was a pioneer in nursing who taught me how to advocate for nursing and health. Through Dr. Glass' dedication, she influenced the wording and the scope of the Canada Health Act in 1984 to include nursing and allied health professionals alongside physicians in the delivery of primary care services. In the early 1980s, she advocated for the image of nurses by screening newspaper articles and movies on TV. If nurses' image was negatively portrayed, she advocated for change to be made or them to be removed from those media systems. Lastly, I thank Almighty God for the strength, the health, the wisdom, and the grace to fulfill my duties of this presidency. Lastly, I close with two of my favorite quotes. Quote, "The greatest leader is the one who gets people to do great things." And another quote from the wisest man that ever lived, King Solomon, quote, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get knowledge, and in all you're getting, get understanding." And finally, I leave you with a song called "There Is a Candle" by Kathy Tricoli. There is a candle in every soul, some brightly shining, some dark and cold. There is a spirit who brings the fire, ignites the candle, and makes his home. Carry your candle all to see. Seek out the hopeless, confused and torn. Hold your candle all to see. Take your candle, go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world. Frustrated brother, see how he's tried to light his own candle some other way. See now a sister, she's been robbed and lied to, still holds a candle without a flame. Carry your candle, oh, to see it. Think of the hopeless, confused and torn. Hold out your candle, oh, to see it. Take your candle, go light your wood. Take your candle, go light your wood. We are a family whose hearts are blazing. We raise our candle, light up the sky, praying to our Father. In the name of Jesus, make us a beacon in the darkest hour. Carry your candle into the darkness. Seek out the helpless, deceive and poor. Pull out your candle, pour out to see. Take your candle, go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world.
Wow.
And now,
Standing ovation.
Amazing. Our new president.
So much.
You, Madam President.
And now,
you made us all cry.
I am passing this to you.
Amazing torch.
For you to keep the meeting in order, Morgan. The new president, Morgan Horvath, the new president of RNAO. Take your candle, light your word, and also keep the meeting in order with your game, with it out.
Thank you so much, Angela. So I thought that I would be at home for the meeting. So thankfully, there's a virtual candle app that you can use on your phone because I did not have a real candle in my office. So, and also I work in a rehab facility. So we happen to have a lot of tools around. So I'm glad we had a hammer here that I could use for this. Thank you so much, Angela. It has been really amazing to get to work with you over the past 2 years or 3 years, I guess, on the board of directors. I've really enjoyed working more closely with you over the past year and really look forward to your continued mentorship. I definitely have some big shoes to fill as you've led with courage and enthusiasm over the last 2 years as president. Unfortunately for everyone, my singing voice is nowhere near as nice as Angela's, so we'll have to rely on her to lead any of these songs. Although I have heard Claudette Holloway sing as well, and she also has a beautiful voice. So unfortunately, there'll be no singing from me. I'm Morgan Hopperth, and I am now your president. So it's truly an honor to represent the over 43,400 RNs, NPs, and nursing students that make up RNAO. I live in London with my husband Corey and our 6-year-old son Grayson, and I've been an RNAO member for my entire nursing career and have had the opportunity to be an assembly member, a chapter president, a regional rep on the board of directors, and now the president. I have never been more proud of the work of our association and its members than I have been over the past 4+ months, 5 months of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our members have been working tirelessly to make sure the best infection control practices are in place across all the sectors of our health system. It's been incredible to hear the stories of members during the Monday evening webinars and to see the engagement of so many members and the public each week, and to see the tremendous engagement of our community as well in the Together We Can Do It campaigns, to hear the clapping and the cheering and to see it on social media. It's been really incredible and inspiring at a time that I know a lot of us are tired. Many of us are tired. We've been adjusting, sometimes daily or more, to new policies. We've seen devastating recoveries. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the loss of the RN in London, Brian Beattie, who died of COVID and worked at a nursing home here in London that did have a COVID-19 outbreak. During this time of uncertainty, RNAO has been there as a leader every step of the way, and I thank our CEO for heading RNAO's command center. Through the daily updates from Doris, we've been able to stay up to date with what's happening in the province and across the world. The stories that have been shared through what's now the twice weekly updates or the blog have been inspiring and energizing and have given hope in a really difficult time. Our members are what makes up the association, and I am so looking forward to representing you over the next 2 years as your president. Member engagement is really essential to continue to grow and strengthen our association. I'm looking forward to meeting with members, hopefully soon in person, but virtually for now while we have to. I want our members to really see themselves as leaders and step into leadership positions in their chapters or regions or their interest groups. I'd like to take also a moment to acknowledge what we've all heard recently about the crisis in long-term care. This information isn't new to RNAO and our members. RNAO has been speaking about funding for long-term care and staffing models in long-term care for years, for 21 years. We've been talking longer than I've been in RN. We've been talking about funding in long-term care and staffing in long-term care. And over the next 2 years, I want to continue to support our members who work in long-term care and the residents of long-term care to continue to speak out about long-term care funding and staffing to our elected officials and continue to push our government to make commitments to improving long-term care for the residents that call that home. And I'd like to take a moment to also thank all of the people who have encouraged and supported me over the years, my family, my coworkers, my RNAO colleagues, the Middlesex Elgin chapter, who's really, that's where I live, that's where I've been for most of my career, who have really encouraged me and supported me, Janet Hunt, who made me become an assembly member, and Cheryl Yost, who I met at my first ever RNAO event, who introduced me to Janet. Thank you for always encouraging me and helping to shape me into the nurse and leader that I am today. I also want to thank all the members who I've had the opportunity to meet over the year of being here and for participating, for continuing to speak out for nursing and to speak out for health. I'm really looking forward to serving you over the next 2 years and to see what we can achieve together. Back to you, Angela.
Thank you, Morgan.
I do want a second because I don't have the opportunity to give my usual orchids, so you will need to wait with them until we are in person. One goes for Angela. Angela, you have been a president. I would say several characteristics. Number 1, courageous. Number 2, outspoken. Number 3, and equally important, genuine, and always available. So Angela, from everybody at the staff of RNAO, and I think from every single member in this province, thank you for being you. Thank you for being our awesome Black nurse. Fantastic. We need more. This is a message for all of the others that are in the audience. And really, at the time when things are very tough, thank you for being with us. Morgan, you are filling big shoes, but you have big ways to do that. We are here to support you. You will do fantastic. And the same as for every other new board member, to you as new president, we will make you shine. We will help you shine and you will shine. So thank you to both of you.
At this time, I would now like to thank everyone for attending this year's AGM. I would especially like to thank the following people for helping me to make this AGM and the online electronic one member, one vote process, such an incredible success. The Chatham-Kent chapter and the enthusiasm hosting of this year's AGM. And I love Florence yesterday. Florence, you were just beautiful. And your speech at the opening ceremony. Charlotte Nosgard, you are amazing parliamentarian and we thank you for your support. Ali Darosha, our chief scrutineer, who once again did an excellent job. Ifra Ali, Laura Nicole, Carrie Edwards, for your superb leadership in organizing the AGM. Huge thanks from all of us to the following staff for their commitment and assistance, many of whom had been involved over the past few months. Marian Zich and her fabulous communication team. Louis Charles Lavier and his awesome IT team. Daniel Lau and his terrific membership team. Peter Gay, Doris' right hand to the CEO. And last but not least, Doris. And I would like to add something for Ifra, our board coordinator who helps me in every way. When I delete messages or important documents, I could send Ifra a message and said, you know, Ifra, I deleted that, you know. She will send it. So patient, so willing to help. Really appreciate you. And I still think there's hope, Ifra, for you to become a nurse and join us or become an honorary nurse. So again, thank you, everyone. God bless. As a reminder, for tomorrow's interest group meeting, most of which begin at 8, and closing keynote presentation celebrating the Year of the Nurse, Scaling Up Our Voice. The much anticipated closing keynote panel, moderated by Dr. Greenspan, will feature Barbara Stilwell, Executive Director of Nursing Now Global, and one of the first MPs in the United Kingdom, and Mary Kay Wakefield, former Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services under President Obama. We have over 400 registered already. Please remember to complete the online evaluations. Your feedback is extra helpful. This year, due to our virtual format, let us know how we did. The link to the online survey can be readily accessed on the RNO website. We do take your feedback very seriously, so please take the time to complete your evaluations on the screen right now in the link. You will also receive an email following the AGM with the survey link. At this time, I will ask for a motion to have the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario 95th annual meeting come to a close. So I need a mover and a seconder.
Angela, you have Janet Hunt. Janet, I'm going to unmute you.
Hey, Janet Hunt, Middlesex, Elgin. I so move.
And Veronique Boscart.
Veronique Boscart, Waterloo Chapter. I will second that.
Okay, and it's carried, and the time is now about 21 minutes past 7. Thank you. So see you tomorrow. There's always a tomorrow.
Love you all. Thank you for attending. Thank you to the members. And thank you to our awesome outgoing president, incoming president, outgoing board, incoming board, and everyone. And to my awesome staff that did a fantastic job. Ifra, you shine again. And PG, thanks for all your help to Ifra.
Okay, have a great evening. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Mike, you can end it.